Hi, I'm Joe,
I'm Joe's mom.
and we're
East
Eastside
Side
Vibes.
Vibes.
Today, we're talking about a new pop album that came out recently that I really like. It's Heaven Knows by Pinkpantheress. And I was wondering if you knew anything about her. I was gonna, I usually ask if you know anything about the artist, but did you know any? Did you even know who this was
No,
before?
no, I didn't even know she was a TikTok star, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't. Her music is really popular on TikTok.
Okay.
I don't think she's necessarily a TikTok star.
Got you.
But yeah, if you're a younger person, you've definitely heard her music. She's extremely popular on TikTok,
Good.
and she has been for a while. I wanted to explain to you, like, kind of, it's interesting, like, her come up and, like, how she got so big so fast.
Yeah, tell me.
Because, from what I saw, I think what I read is her brother is, like, an engineer, like a sound engineer.
Okay.
And, he studied at, like, Cambridge or something.
Oh, wow.
And, she just kind of because she's from, Cambridge.
Yeah.
And she got kind of inspired by him, and she would make music for fun, like just on her computer while in high school.
Okay.
Because she's only like 22.
Yeah, she's
or 21.
young. She's young.
But she posted like a few clips of like some songs she was working on SoundCloud.
Okay. SoundCloud is still around?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really big for certain scenes. It's still really big for electronic music because they can put remixes and stuff on there that you can't get the clearance for to like actually like put it out on Spotify.
There you go.
So, but anyway, and it's still kind of big for hip hop. But anyway, maybe it's really big in Britain for like underground artists.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
But I'm guessing it is because she went viral with a few of her clips on SoundCloud. So she released like the full versions of these songs on there.
Okay.
And then she was like a rising artist, and her first like couple songs, like actual like songs she released, went viral on TikTok immediately.
Okay.
Like.
So she didn't post them on TikTok. They became popular via SoundCloud.
Yeah, like someone must have posted them on TikTok. Like extremely viral. I remember like when they came out, and they were like the biggest songs on the app.
Oh, that's cool.
And
good for her.
She like released like a couple of EPs right away, just to like keep the momentum rolling. And this is actually her second album. She technically had an album before this.
Yeah, because when you read about it, she kind of says this is her first album. But I have to just clarify, what is an EP?
An EP is like it stands for extended play, and it's usually just like not because sometimes people will call it a single when they release like 3 songs.
Yes.
Sometimes they call it an EP.
I see. Okay, I get you. I always
so it would be
EP
like
was the big
3 to 5 songs.
Okay.
It's like an EP.
Okay.
So I guess you could call it her first thing. I'm blanking on what it was called, but I guess you could call her first album a mixtape because I think she considers this to be her first studio album.
Yeah.
But that is like a 10-song project, and it was very, very, very like highly rated when it came out in 2021.
Yeah.
So, and then I think in 2022 she like mainly did some. She made another EP, and she did a lot of like features to like build herself.
Oh, that's cool.
And then at the end of the year, that's when "Boy's a Liar" came out, which is a song that we'll talk about. Actually, the original came out, and that was like kind of popular. And then the Ice Spice remix came out in January, and went viral again. And that's still like one of the biggest songs in the app now.
Oh yeah.
And it came out, and it's been that way all year. Like it might be one of the biggest songs of the year.
Do they have a dance to it?
I think there's a dance to it. Yeah. But I mean, anything that Ice Spice touches right now goes insanely viral. Like that. If you want to have a hit, like get her on your song.
Yeah, she's got that golden hair, and she touches gold right now.
She has something about her that just like draws everyone in. But yeah, so that's kind of like the background on Pinkpantheress. I think one of the reasons she's become so popular so fast is because Y2K like fashion and influence,
Mhm.
which Y2K, if you don't know, it stands for like early 2000s. It's like my childhood would be
Yeah.
Y2K.
Yep.
That if you look at the way like younger people dress, like
Mhm.
you know, you're a teacher, you probably notice it. It's definitely inspired by that era,
Mhm.
and a lot of the
Yeah.
music is too.
Mhm.
And her music kind of fuses some of the R&B and Europop or like garage music that was popular at that time,
Right.
and makes it modern.
Right. I think the New York Times was calling it hyper pop.
Yeah, hyperpop refers to those like those super quick beats with like the super fast hi-hats.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of her music has that, but it also sounds inspired by like that, like I said, like that garage music.
Mhm.
That trying to think of songs you would know that would have that sound from that era. Like there's some songs that
Yeah,
you would
I'll
know.
look them up. Yeah.
But like yeah, like it's inspired by that kind of music, and but makes it like super fresh.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's a very fresh album. What did Ice Spice said that she has a very mystical fairy voice to her, and you definitely can hear it.
Yeah, her vocals like fit like this style
Mhm.
really well.
Mm-hmm.
And another reason I think people are attracted to her is because like she's actually a very good writer. Like lyrically, these songs are good. Whether or not like you think the album flows or not is one thing, but as far as like she's pretty deep with like in her writing.
Oh, definitely very deep.
And people like appreciate that for
Mhm.
sure.
Mhm.
It's like relatable songs. It's not like music it's not like very basic pop music just for the sake of like it sounding good. You can also relate to what she's saying.
Definitely. You'll have to excuse me for drinking some water in between. I just had my thyroid removed, so I am covering it up with my New York Yankees scarf that we got when we went to New York City over Thanksgiving. So yeah, sorry for that.
Yeah, it's no worries. But yeah, we'll dive right into the album. The first song, you know, as always, we're just going to talk about some of our favorite songs,
Mhm.
and then talk about our feelings about the whole thing at the end.
Mm-hmm.
The first song that we were going to highlight is the first song on the album. It's one of my favorites. It's called, although I think you said you liked this one too.
Yeah, I did.
It's called Another Life, and it features Rima,
Mm-hmm.
who's another artist who's been going like insanely viral this year.
Okay.
He's cool because I believe he's Nigerian,
Okay.
and he makes Afro pop music, and
Oh,
that's
nice.
been like influencing a lot of American music
Yeah.
for years.
Yep.
But now like there are some African artists like Rima who are like becoming big. Burna
Oh.
Boy's another one, which is awesome because like so, for example, like Drake has been very inspired by Afro pop
Okay.
for a long time.
Okay.
Songs like One Dance or like Passion Fruit, some of his biggest songs,
Okay.
are definitely, I mean, they're literally produced by Wizkid, who's like a Nigerian producer.
Didn't know that.
And
This is Drake we're talking about.
yeah, Drake.
Wow.
But the thing is Afro pop like did not like reach a world stage like
Okay.
with those Nigerian artists. Like
Okay.
they're popular in Africa
Mhm.
and even in Britain, but
Mhm.
like they
Just
weren't
not here
making
yet.
it to the US.
Okay.
So I think it's cool that now finally these
She's
African
invented-
artists are getting credit for the sound that they invented a long time ago.
That's good.
And Rima is at the forefront of that for sure. This
Okay.
song doesn't have an Afro pop sound.
No.
It's
no.
you know, it has it's a lot closer to what like the type of music that Pinkpantheress is known for.
Mm-hmm.
One reason I really like this song is because of the melody. I really like
That's why I like it.
the organ sound
Mhm.
in the beginning. I don't think it's an organ, but it sounds like an organ.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like, I think when I wrote about it, it gave me like a feeling of like Phantom of the Opera,
Yep.
or even
Yeah.
almost like Dracula a little
Yeah,
bit. It's
yeah.
very like dark, and
Yep. That's true.
it's almost like a negative. It's like a negative feeling of like of like wedding church music.
Oh wow.
It has like that tone for me, but not like in a positive way.
Like Beetlejuice. when she has to marry Beetlejuice.
Yeah, like
There was that
bit.
really dark organ that was playing.
But that's a really cool sound, especially with like this kind of like fast beat.
Yeah, it is a fast beat.
I've never really heard, because her music usually has these quick beats, but I've never heard like that kind of melody with this kind of music.
Yeah.
And Another Life is just lyrically, I think it's a cool song. It's obviously her like singing to someone that she is into, and how she thinks that like they could be like whatever their relationship didn't work, but she still loves them, and she thinks they could be together, you know, in the next life.
Okay.
I think another reason I'm really into this song is because I think the way that Rima's vocals contrast Pinkpantheress's is just very cool. She has, like you said, this like mystical, very like light and sweet voice.
Yes, very much so.
And I think like the way his accent like contrasts like her sound makes it feel darker.
Yes.
And it just creates like a cool juxtaposition for the song. There's a back and forth between like the way she sounds and the way he sounds.
Right.
And it's because of like this organ feeling, because of like this this dark element.
Just think Phantom of the Opera dark.
It's a very good song to open the record with.
Oh, definitely.
It draws you in.
That song. Yes, I agree.
It's very big, and you're like, I don't know what this is gonna be, but this is pretty cool because it's very, it's very huge. It's very impactful.
Yes,
I would say.
Good word. Yes.
But so that's that's Another Life. Sorry. The second song that we wanted to highlight this is like probably one of my favorite songs right now. It's Nice to Meet You with Central C. An additional artist, another artist who's becoming very big right now online on TikTok.
You like collabs. You're a big collab guy.
Yeah, well, I mean,
if they're
not
good.
always. Yeah,
if they're good. But I like how you always recognize the collabs of people who are newer or who aren't as popular. You know, so like you're highlighting this person who isn't really out there right now. Central
C is very big in Britain right now. He has been for a couple of years.
Okay.
'Cause I have another scene I've like dove into recently is like the British drill music and hip hop scene.
Okay.
And he's at the forefront, although he's also very young. He's not as young as her, but I think he's only like low to mid 20s.
Okay.
But he hadn't really popped off in the U.S. There are a couple big British rappers who have like gotten popular in the U.S. Like Stormzy is one. You might have heard of him, or Dave is another one.
Okay.
But
a name, Dave.
Yeah. Dave is a great name, but Central C hadn't really popped off in the U.S. before. He had a song with Dave earlier this year that went viral on TikTok.
Okay.
Very big.
Okay.
And that's what's exposing him to an American audience. I'm sure making a song with Pinkpantheress is also exposing him to Americans.
Definitely.
Because one thing about her is like even though she's a British artist, like she's very popular over here too.
Okay.
She's like, especially for this kind of music, which isn't necessarily that big over here a lot of the time.
Okay.
This style of R&B. And Nice to Meet You. It's compared to Another Life, it's a very bright song. It's very the melody is just like sweet and like upbeat. It's just like happy. I would say.
Yes. Nice to meet you.
And I think her performance, this might be my favorite performance of hers on the record, just like as far as like her flow goes, and it almost maybe it's because it's with Central C.
Could be.
The way she's flowing sounds like rap a little bit.
Okay.
But she's still singing. It's like, kind of like sing rapping. And the chorus for this song is super catchy.
Yes, very much
super catchy. That's one reason I really like it. It's not super big on TikTok right now, but I think that this song will be eventually. It's one of those that'll pop off.
Okay.
like Another Life, you know, you mentioned I like collabs. This is one reason I like collabs. I think the way he contrasts her is really good on this song, because Central C is a very deep,
yes,
like very like gruff delivery,
very bass.
Yeah, and that the way that meshes with her is like so different, you know, because she's very light.
Yeah.
And they even, for parts of his verse, changed the beat from that upbeat, like, hyper-pop sound to, like, drill. That is what drill music is, where it's this super buzzing bass.
Okay.
And you can, when the beat switches in that song, that's, like, what drill music is.
Okay.
And that's what he makes.
Okay.
And I like that beat switch. He's like, does that for a little bit while he's rapping, then switches back to the original sound. And it's very seamless compared to like Drake songs where like it literally feels like you slam on the damn brakes.
Yeah. And there's a new part. Yeah. That's a good way of saying it.
This isn't like that.
No, it's not. That's really funny.
Yeah, it transitions very well.
It does transition. Oh, that one's going to stay in my head now.
But, you know, Travis Scott also does that, where it feels like you're just slamming on the... It's like, this is cool, but just make this song... Album's already 29 songs. Just make it 35 if you're going to do this.
That's true.
Like, there's no reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I think Nice to Meet You is song, just a really cool, like, sweet song, I guess. It's not... Lyrically, it's not the most sophisticated or anything. It's a fun pop song. Yeah. I think, like I said, I think it's going to like really pop off.
I hope so.
Because it has like that kind of energy.
Yep. I hope so.
The third song that we wanted to highlight is "Bury Me," which features Kalela. And Kalela is an artist, or I hope I'm pronouncing that right. That I've seen featured on songs in the past, or she's made music with the producer Kay Trinata, who I really like.
Okay.
But I've never really dove into her music, and I feel like I should have because I really like her voice.
Yeah, she has a very nice voice.
She's a really pretty voice. I wouldn't say her voice contrasts Pinkpantheress's very well. They're pretty similar, actually. She's a little more like bass, I guess. She's a little deeper voice, but... one reason I like Bury Me is because it's the first song that has a totally different like style of beat. This one is a lot more I would compare, I think when I wrote about it, it makes me think of like R&B trap music.
Okay.
Like a little closer to like SZA or like Don Toliver, like that kind of music. Very American.
Yes.
As opposed to the rest of the beats, which are very I guess not American, British.
Right.
Very garage influenced. But yeah, Bury Me is I wonder if this song will also become popular like on TikTok or something because it's more of like an American style song.
Right. It's funny that, you know, we're talking about like the British songs and, you know, what they like here versus, you know, what we have here or what they like there. At the school that I'm at, and I think most schools have black Spotify, but there's actually this, and I can't remember what it is, if it's called World Music or whatever it is, but it clicks on all the radio stations in the entire world that are playing music, and you can click on it. And I know when students have clicked on British songs, they're different. They thought, oh, they're just going to listen to the same thing, but they're different. No, they don't. And kids, I know in the past, kids are like, this is really cool. They like the music, and that was, I think, before TikTok really became, you know, that leading thing to bring people out there. So that's cool. It's cool that you're saying that because it just reminded me of how much the kids were like, oh, I like this.
This is a little aside that I just remembered. Recently, I saw a video on TikTok of some girl. I think she was kind of trying to shade or hate on this artist, which, like, I don't know why people do this. But it was how this new, I was thinking this is an artist, we might actually react to her album when it comes out, because it comes out soon. There's an artist named Tate McRae, who's a up-and-coming pop star. She has one of the top songs on Spotify right now.
Okay.
And she's Canadian. And what's funny is earlier this year, I had never really heard of her, and I like went on her Spotify because I heard one of her songs on TikTok and I liked it, and she has like 1 billion streams on one of her songs.
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
how?
Billion.
I'm like, how does this artist with like over 1 billion streams,
Right.
uh, like, how does she have that? And I have someone who's really into music. I've just literally never heard of her. And then I asked what's funny is I messaged my sister who's like really into pop, and she had heard of her.
Oh.
And anyway, I figured out what the reason is, and in this TikTok, basically, this girl was like, I found this artist, Tate McRae, similar to me. How does she have 1 billion streams and I've never heard of her? And in the comments, but then she was saying like, like something like she's not as good as Beyonce or whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Beyonce's Beyonce. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like she's like 19. Give her a chance.
Exactly. Give her a little while.
But anyway, in the comments, someone put they know the reason. It's because the U.S. has the U.S. has like privacy laws when it comes to like media, where like they only promote media that's from here.
Wow.
And you will get exposure from other artists when they get really big, obviously. But they, I think, have to make an effort to like expose themselves to the U.S. You have to like
get someone to connect. Get
work
a US
with American
person.
companies to distribute your music.
Yep. Wow.
And if they're not doing that, that's why you've never heard of these artists. Like, I've showed you these K-pop artists that have tons and tons of streams and you've never heard of them.
No.
That's the reason.
Wow.
There's lots of artists in Britain too that are like Dave, you never heard of Dave. Dave is massive. He's a #1 artist in Britain.
Wow.
But he just must not promote his music very much over here.
Right.
So unless
he doesn't
you're
have the right promoter for the U.S.
Well, or like you have to like literally like distribute your music with American record labels, and maybe he's just not doing that.
Reminds me, what was that album we did? Oh, where it had the cover and it was supposed to be all the producers of the music.
Oh, that's Lil Yachty.
Yeah, and that's almost the same thing. It's like distorted, and it's showing how like the music industry is distorted, and obviously it's distorted if that's the way you have to get known as through an American group.
But like an American company.
Yeah.
But so the way these artists are getting exposed, like the way I found Dave is like through communities online on TikTok or YouTube. For Dave, it was YouTube.
Okay.
That are really into these artists.
Okay.
And sharing them basically.
Okay.
Awesome. And that's happened for Pinkpantheress. Like I said, she got really big on SoundCloud and TikTok. But there are lots of other artists in Britain that like you probably hadn't heard of. But anyway, back to the music. But yeah, Bury Me, like melody wise, it's not the most like memorable, I would say, but I really like the vocal performances, and I like the fact that the beat switches up from like what everything else is on the record. And the way that Kalela and the way that Pinkpantheress's vocals mesh on this song is just really nice. But so the fourth song we wanted to talk about is Ophelia. This is one of my mom's favorites, so I'll let you talk about why you like this song so much.
So you talked about Bury Me. There was like a point during the album where her flow started to change. It became like slower and a little more not softer, but there was I don't know, maybe more of a purpose is how I think of it. Like they all had a purpose, but that's how I thought of it.
Well, it's like less energetic.
Yeah. So when I heard Ophelia and I was really listening to the lyrics, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Hamlet. This is, when...
Yeah, she's singing about Hamlet.
Exactly. When Ophelia was in love with Hamlet, but he killed her father, and then she found out, and she wound up committing suicide in a river. And so I kept saying to myself, there's no way that nobody has made this comparison, because when I was doing my research, nobody was comparing it. So I'm going on there and I'm typing in, where's the comparison of Ophelia to Hamlet? Boom, his website popped up first, that there's the comparison there. Not many people have said it.
Yeah, I thought that was weird how people didn't pick that up. I'm like, it's called, maybe people just haven't, how have you not seen or read Hamlet?
I know, how have you not? And I'm sure there are many, I don't know if schools make you read Shakespeare anymore, but it's one of the most iconic stories ever.
I would hope I'm not the only person that figured that out, because I mean that's obviously what she was
exactly
doing. It's very obvious.
But she's from the UK
Britain,
or
yeah.
from Britain, so it would make more sense to
Yeah.
people there. But yeah, the connection, and Hamlet is my favorite Shakespeare
Okay.
play. It's my favorite, so I initially just drew into that song right away.
Okay. You just like the lyrics, or
I like the lyrics. I also like the beat. I like that it's slowed down.
it's
and you could
another one
really-
with like the R&B trap feeling.
Right, and you could really hear what she was saying with every word, and because it was making that connection to Hamlet, it was very meaningful. I really like that song a lot.
What's interesting about her music is some of it is definitely supposed to induce feeling, like
Yeah.
the earlier songs on the record that are faster, like you may not pay attention to the lyrics that much, because even though her lyricism is actually very good on every song,
It's very good.
but you may not pay attention because like it's so fast and it's
And
just
the
like
beat's good.
inducing, like a feeling of dancing.
Mhm.
But there's other songs like this and even Bury Me where you can like be more attracted to or you can like feel more what she's saying
Mhm.
because she slows down the beat and the way she
Yes.
performs it.
Yes.
So it shows her diversity, and in the future I hope she like expands even more.
I agree.
Because there's only like a few songs on the record. Most
That
of
are like this, yeah.
most of the songs have like that faster
Yeah,
sound.
they do.
And maybe she could make a whole album like this, or do like half next time, or maybe she won't. But this does show
It's good.
how eclectic she is. Like
Yes. Ooh, good way of saying it.
she can obviously make a lot of different styles of
Yes.
music if she wants to. Even I wonder if she wants to make the style she's more known for, because that's what people know her for. But this is proving that she doesn't have to do that.
Right.
And I wonder if Ophelia will even be one of a song that other people like really are attracted to, because it's so different from what she's known for.
Mm-hmm.
But it is if you didn't pick that one, I might have, just because I think it's cool that it's about Hamlet, and I always like it when artists show their diversity, I guess.
Yes, I agree.
The fifth song that we wanted to highlight is Capable of Love. That's another one of my mom's favorites. I would say this is officially the last song on the album.
Right.
Technically, it's Boy's a Liar.
Right.
But
Part 2.
to me, that one feels like it was thrown in at the end.
Oh, Capable of Love?
No, Boy's a Liar.
Oh, definitely.
Like
definitely.
it could have been somewhere else in the album, actually.
Yeah, they could.
Or they
yeah.
could have just not put it on there.
Exactly, because it's the Part 2 version. So, yeah, I agree.
But anyway, yeah, you can talk about why you like this song so much.
So I liked it because, when I was looking things up about her, it was saying that, she, and again, now she's become really famous, but it was saying in the very beginning, at least, she really valued her privacy and, not putting herself out there as much. But you're saying that she's everywhere now. So that obviously has changed. But
that doesn't mean she wants to be.
Right, that's true.
She has to promote
her album herself. So, because I equate this song to TikTok, Capable of Love, because to me it's her saying that because she's done so much on social media, that's possibly where she could find the love of her life, is through there. But if she were walking down the street, they would never know who she was, or she would never, kind of thing, because, what you see on social media isn't always reality. And so possibly that's, she's never going to meet that. She's capable of love, but she's probably never going to have it because of that, kind of world, social media world.
You know what I picked up from this song? I also think it's very good lyrically, and I wonder if you will get this from it. I think it's sort of about parasocial relationships with popular people online.
Oh, ooh, yeah.
Like, she's putting herself in the shoes of someone who's obsessed with her, maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe
Okay,
she
that
is
makes
that person
sense.
that's like obsessed with The Weeknd or
Right.
whoever
Right.
she's into.
Right, and then if they walk down the street, they're never going to know who she is.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're just literally just a fan. Like,
got you. Oh, that's a good one.
You think it is a really interesting thing with the internet and how this stuff works, because they, artists will put them, or whoever, social media people who are just popular, will put so much of their lives online through stories, whatever. Like, we feel like we know these people.
You do.
But you don't know these people. You're never gonna meet these people.
Nope.
Or maybe
you will,
maybe
but
you
you
will,
have to
but
become.
they could also be different than, because you have to portray yourself. We all portray ourselves online with a certain image that you want the world to see.
Correct.
Whether or not that's who you actually are is different.
Right.
You should try to be authentic, but
every time, exactly. But especially when you think about musical artists, every time they make a new album, it's almost like they're recreating who they are as well with that album. So like you said, getting to know, like, we'll just say Drake or something. Drake recreates himself when he makes an album. So does that mean that I know that Drake? Or do I know the Drake from several years ago when he did that album?
Yeah. I said The Weeknd, he's a really good example. Listen to his music, you think this guy is like a literal monster.
Yeah.
And maybe in the way he treats women or whatever he is.
I hope it's not true.
But every single time I've seen anyone talk about meeting him, they say he's like literally the nicest guy they've ever met.
That's great. Yeah, and you don't think that. When you listen to his music or see his videos, you're like, this guy's nuts. Whacked.
Yeah, he's literally insane.
Yeah, he's whacked.
I think Michael Jackson was actually the same way. Everyone said this guy is like extremely approachable.
Yes.
Very nice. But you would never, you wouldn't necessarily think that through his music.
Right. And
you think he's larger than life.
Right, and it's not like you're going to be his best friend or anything, but, it's just not who they are.
So, so I wonder if Pinkpantheress through this song is singing about someone being obsessed with her, or if she is the person that was like in love with someone else, or maybe it's both.
Right. Very good.
But that's like sonically, this song probably doesn't draw me in as much, but I just think the lyrically it's very cool.
Yes, that's why I was drawn in.
And then the last song is the song we've mentioned a couple times. It's Boy's a Liar. That part 2 with Ice Spice. Technically, that's it's the last like song on the album,
or a remake or something like that.
But I really feel like they could have like put it like maybe before Nice to Meet You, like because it fits that sound a lot better.
Yeah, so apparently this was one of her songs that really hit. Boy's a Liar. And what's interesting is when you hear her say liar, you can tell she's from the UK because of the way she says it. And so I had never heard the original version, so I went and listened to it, and it was good. But when I heard this part with Ice Spice is phenomenal. And I'm like, oh, I agree. They should have put this somewhere else because it's like just like, by the way, here it is with Ice Spice.
Especially because Capable of Love probably should have been the last song. Yes. Because it has like a climax feeling to it.
Yeah.
They could have just put Boys a Liar before Capable of Love and just let Capable of Love be the last song.
Right.
Because this doesn't feel like a last song.
No, it's like, here
it almost feels like a first song.
Yep.
But,
I agree. Well, and she never released that on an album, did she?
I think it might, the first version was on an EP.
Okay.
But this version obviously was just like a single they put out on TikTok.
Okay.
And I didn't even know it was going to be on the album, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it makes sense why they threw it on there. Yeah, as far as this song goes, I like Pinkpantheress is good. I think the chorus is very catchy. But Ice Spice like steals the show. Her performance is just great on this song.
Yeah, she takes it. It's almost like an Ice Spice song.
It does feel a little bit like an Ice Spice song. That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
But yeah, I mean, I don't really have a ton to say about it because I would, even if like you haven't heard this album or don't really know much about her, I would kind of guess you've heard this song.
Yeah.
Because if you're online at all, because it's just so big. But yeah, so that is our sixth song, Boy's a Liar, Part 2. You know,
Part 2.
Definitely one of the biggest songs of the year.
Yes.
In the US and I'm sure in the UK.
Oh, probably. And Ice Spice you put Ice Spice on anything and it's going to go platinum right now.
Yeah, she's definitely killing it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, like I mentioned in the beginning, I really like this album because it reminds me a lot of the music that was popular when I was like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It has like that feeling of like pop music,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also, like I mentioned before, very fresh.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like a modern version of that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's literally just because of her vocal style or whatever.
It could.
But also lyrically, I think it's very good.
It is.
She's definitely a very good writer, even if you're not like as into her voice or into this kind of music. Like, you can appreciate that she definitely can write. Right. She's a good writer. Similar, not as good as like Olivia Rodrigo, but similar to her.
Right.
Where if you're not into like the way she sings, like, you can't deny that like she's obviously is a good lyricist. She knows what she's doing.
She is, and I like the lyrics, so I agree.
And yeah, so when I wrote about it, I think I gave it like a 7.8, like a little like under like an 8, and I would keep it like around there. Like I said, a couple of the songs, like Nice to Meet You is one of my favorite songs right now. So I have to like just, bump it up because
there's a song that's
there's songs that like I really like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna, that gives credit to the whole album, definitely.
Definitely.
And yeah, I think this is a very good technical debut, even though it's not really your debut, technically it is.
Right.
She can expand on this and like I said, maybe like do more slower stuff in the future and even, do like a more even full and complete album. I think that it's a very good start and she's going to like be a top pop artist.
I agree. I would. So if I were to rank it, I'd give it a 6.5 to a 7, but that's just because I would like her to expand on the slower stuff. If the album had more of that, at least for me, I would have been a higher score, definitely. But that's because I like that kind of music.
It's definitely catered more towards like younger listeners who are into this super fast music.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. And I wanted to, one of the reasons I wanted to show you this, because I wanted you to see like the kind of like pop music that is becoming like big today.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to keep going this way for a while.
I agree.
But yeah, overall, that's how we feel about Pinkpantheress's Heaven Knows. She's has a ton of potential.
Definitely.
And just said, I think she'll be around for a really long time, and I'm excited to see, how she expands on this.
Yep, where she goes.
But with that being said, I'm Joe.
I'm Joe's mom.
We're Eastside Vibes, and thanks for watching.
Bye.
Have a nice day.